I've got a mule, her name is Sam, 15 miles on the Erie Canal. She's a good old worker and a good old pal, 15 miles on the Erie Canal. We've hauled some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal, and hay, and we know every inch of the way from Albany to Buffalo.
I'm a great believer in the adage, blessed are the pessimists, for they shall not be disappointed. And I found, I became involved with the Buckingham Canal Society when they began attending the Braunton Historic Rally back in 2003, and they've been every single one we've ever had. And I've always been impressed by the dedication, the commitment and everything else. And every other canal event around this sort of area I ever went to, there were the Buckingham Canal Society. And anyway, last year, or the beginning of the end of last year, I turned 75, which was time to take stock of who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and all that sort of thing. And I decided that rather than hanging around until my executives started handing out the money I promised to various good causes, I'd get on with doing it now, with a simple pleasure of seeing it in action rather than leaving my solicitors to do it all. And today is typical of what I am trying to do. It's only a small contribution to this great cause, but it is a very personal contribution for me. I told Athena and Terry and the team that I would make this donation, state to the mark, which is seven-figure sum, as you all think. No, it isn't. But I would like them to use it for the restoration of this canal, but I would like them to do something that would record my late wife Diana, who died 9 years ago, a few weeks ago, on the canals. I said, I don't mind what it is, I don't want a statue or anything like that. I just want something that's positive. And I said, go away and have a think. And Terry and Athena came back with the idea of me buying this dredger and having it restored. All I had to do was write the check. And the volunteers done all the rest. And it was second hand, and I think everything I've ever bought in my life has been second hand, except my wife. Including the second hand marina, back in when it was. And anyway, they were to restore this boat. It's got a lovely, it's a Lister SR3, is it? It is. Lister SR3 engine, which was a power engine of the canals during the 60s, 70s, but totally restored. This could be one of the last SR3s working on the network in 20 years' time. They've done a magnificent job. If you want to have a look at the engine, just ask Terry very politely. It's now already been dredging. Some of you can see in the little script. I think that came from it, didn't it? Yep. That's the dirty work our boats have been doing already. Today, we're going to have a wonderful special event, and I'm very pleased to have, I want this to become a very good personal friend of mine, David Suchet, to drive the first 500 yards of this Buckingham Canal just over there since 1935, isn't it? 37, sorry, correction, 1937. And it comes to this rather dramatic halt with the A5, but then there are plans afoot now, funding, everything else. What particularly attracted me about getting involved with the Buckingham Canal Society, because I am involved in other ones, as David is even more so with the Litchfield, is to actually see it completed in my lifetime. Because I think 10 years should finish it. Fair wind. Fair wind. And I hope, this is where it gets really dramatic, that David will also still be alive then, and he can drive the boat for the very last bit into Buckingham. For the first boat that will have completed the whole, because he'll be leading the charge, it'll be the first boat that will navigate the whole of this canal since 1925, is it? The top end? Yes. Taking the top end. So, David's always said that he likes to support the waterways with his name, and that's what he said. And I suspect half the audience here wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for his generosity in making his time available to be with us today. So what we're going to do, actually I wanted to talk about one other thing about, there's always a surprise in life, and we had a years without a Nicholson guide for the Southern Grand Union because they were revising it and revising it. A thing called COVID came in the middle of it all. And they finally produced a new book. And just in case things run out shortly, they're already showing this bit of Buckingham Canal as being navigable. Well, as of today, it will be navigable. But as of yesterday, there was an awful lot of disappointed people who really got as far as here. Somehow turn and go back again.
We did have a hire boat try and get down here on Wednesday.
So such is the way of these things. So the way we're going to do it is I've asked David to just say a few words about my late wife Diana, because he's knew her for 23 years. But one of these crazy mad schemes, I decided when I turned 40 to buy Braunstone Marina in a wreck. I then had 4 very young children. This chap here, where is he gone? My son was only 6, I think, when I bought this place. And my eldest daughter was 8, and there were 2 much younger children, and she coped with all that and everything else. We lived pretty hand to mouth for some time. At one stage she panicked and rang her mother and said, I think the marina's going bust and we're going to have to come and live in a tent in your garden. But it didn't quite come out. Somehow we survived and we're here. She was a great girl. It was very tragic that she developed cancer, age 57. It's something I have to live with all my life. I saw yesterday in the Times that cancer deaths have reduced by a quarter since 1981 with all the treatment going on. Maybe another few years' time we'll be down to half. But sadly she was too late for all of that. But I'm sure she's very much with us. And this boat is called Diana, and the other dredger over there by chance is called Louise, which is one of her daughters. It's called dredger, so they'll be working in pairs for this bit. And then the narrow bit of canal she'll be doing. So what I'm going to ask David to do is just to say a few words about his memories of Diana, and then he's going to read a poem that we've always used at Braunstone Marina for all these memorable events, the recording, sadly, the passing of all 3 of the last working boats of the Blue Line fleet, the people who were involved with that, Jim and Doris, the Collinses, the Whitlocks, and so on. And then he's going to pour some finest Prosecco. We have to decide quite where to pour it, but I think we can pour it over there. And then after that, we're going to have a little quick toast over there, and then David and I and 1 or 2 others are going to go for the cruise along here, the first navigation for whatever it is, and you're all welcome to walk alongside and tell us where port is and starboard is, just in case we've forgotten. Anyway, David, here you are. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Hello everyone, thank you all very much. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you all very, very much for coming. I feel very honoured to be invited here today for this very special double event. The first cruising on the Buckingham and of course to honour and remember Diana. I first met Tim and family and lovely Diana way back in 1991. He did well out of us. We bought a boat off him. And we moored at Braunstone Marina with that boat and indeed other boats as well. And we got to know Tim and family and Diana. And I have to say she was the most warm, welcoming, lovely person to myself, my wife, and our 2 very young children at the time, and we all sort of grew up together, and here we are all those years later. Apart from anything else, I know that she was, if I'm allowed to say so, a huge fan of my series, Poirot. And what moved me very much was yesterday Tim and I were talking on the phone, and he told me something that really made me tear up. Apparently, the last television programme in hospital that she watched was me as Poirot on Death on the Nile. And that actually moved me to a great extent, and I feel so honoured. You know, I've always said that life is rather like a spider's web, and where the 2 little strands meet all over our web are occasions and people, etc., etc. And Tim and Diana and family and Braunstone are certainly a huge link on my spider's web in my life and my family's life. So, having said that and pay tribute and love to wonderful Diana, I'm going to read this fantastic poem. It's only about 12 lines or so, but it's very lovely, and I've read this on several occasions at Braunston. It's called, well, it's by Patrick Kavanagh, and it's lines written on a seat on the Grand Canal, Dublin. Oh, commemorate me where there is water, canal water preferably, so stilly, greeny at the heart of summer. Brother, commemorate me thus beautifully, where by a loch Niagarously roars the falls, for those who sit in the tremendous silence of mid-July. No one will speak in prose who finds his way to these Parnassian islands. A swan goes by, head low, with many apologies, and look, a barge comes, bringing from Athy and other far-flung towns mythologies. Oh, commemorate me with no hero courageous tomb, just a canal bank seat for the passerby.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is the best bit. Do you remember that great advertisement on the news, on the telly back in the 70s, 80s? I named this boat Champagne Mum. That's far too good a bottle to waste on this.
I must apologise. My wife couldn't be with me today, and she's very sad about this. But we had split obligations with family, and I'm sure you all know what that means. And I'm here, and she's not with me. But she was given a line to say. Would you like me to say her line?
Yes, you can.
Before? Or...
No, you say that afterwards.
I'll say it afterwards, right. I always need a director.
Okay, let's go. That's right over there.
Right. Where would you like me to do?
Where's it? You've got a
Diana?
Just by Diana.
You just pour it over the Diana plaque.
So I've got 2 lines.
You've got to have this too.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
I name this dredger Diana, and my wife will follow me with these words: may God bless her and all who dredge in her.
The buffet. I'll keep it on for you. Just need to say thank you to all the volunteers. Several of them here. Fundamental part of this project. Not about us as trustees, it's about the people on the ground. So give them a round of applause,
Everybody ready? I now declare that the restored and connected Cosgrove arm of the Buckingham Canal open. Thank you. Since 1937 that a boat is going to enter this section, and it's a dredger named Diana.
That's right.
Could I just say huge thank you for Tim for presenting this to us once again. And I think almost every year since, I think it's about 16 years.
16 years.
17 years. Yeah. So amazing generosity. Yes.
I originally gave this to try and help the friends with those setting up. I said, provided Sculptor came to our historic narrowboat rally, I give them £1,000 for every year they came. And unfortunately, they seem to be rather good at turning up.
Yeah. We only missed 1 year because she was
I still gave it to you.
But Tim still gave us the donation.
No, it's
so he's our number one supporter.
Beautiful.
Everybody down Lower Bridge, the finest mule in town. Eats a pail of hay for dinner, and on top of that myself tries to drink up all the water in the Erie Canal. I've got a mule, her name is Sal, 15 miles on the Erie Canal. She's a good old worker and a good old pal, 15 miles on the Erie Canal. We've all some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal and hay, and we know every inch of the way, from Albany to Buffalo, from Albany to Buffalo, from Albany to Buffalo.